you Omega Live TV. Ghana at 2020 political show. Your friend Kofi Kula. And then Yene Mr. Mbaba, Alaji Mbaba. Oye chairman for NDC UK and Ireland. Ebeye Abubu Kakra. Na oni ebe kanoma bebre in terms of NDC's agenda for 2020. Now within this, you're very reflective on NDC in terms of lessons are also learning from the 2016 election defeat. And what are some of the lessons and moving forward, what they intend to do and to make a difference. Alaji, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, my brother Kofi Kula. I'll be speaking in English, but I will take some of the questions in account if the listeners prefer to speak in account. I want it to be more interactive, so I will prefer to speak in English.
Yes, okay,
yeah.
That's good.
And good evening to all Ghanaian community in the UK and all over the world who will be listening to tonight's program.
Yeah. Thank you, Alaji. Now, a lot has gone on in terms of recent weeks about what the government has been doing. I know it looked long. Yeah. Some are saying it's very long time. When I spoke to Sami Jemfi, 3 years is a long time. Yeah. And some feel that 3 years is a short period. Now, reflecting back on the 2016 election defeat, what are some of the lessons that the NDC have learned? And what do they think they can do to come to power again?
Well, I mean, it's straightforward. In 2016, we allow MPP to dominate the political space with their unrealistic promises. We did not engage with the Ghanaian community to a level that would have made them to understand that what MPP was promising practically could not be implemented. We just assumed that things were okay. We didn't communicate more to Ghanaians what our achievements were at that time. And in the end, NDC managed to lie, if I may put it this way, lie their way into power. The one district, one factory, we all knew there's no way a government could implement things like that. Because if you really want to set up factories, you need to carry out feasibility studies. It is not every district in that country that will have the infrastructure and space and the resources for a factory to be created. And no wonder somewhere along the line, they have realized that they couldn't even implement what they promised Ghanaians. Now, early this year, they claim they have created more than 58 districts, factories in 58 districts. If you take Ghana, for instance, we have 254. And from what they are saying, they managed to establish 58 districts. If we calculate the 58 out of the 250, that's less than 23%. So in effect, the one district, one factory policy is a fiasco. And that's what we should have explained to Ghanaians very well. There's no way a government in Ghana can provide factory in every district. Unless if they are going to set up cottage industries and turn around to brand them as industries in quote. Our approach is the way forward. Like recently, President John Mahama said, there's going to be industrial zones. If you remember, when we were doing economics at O level, we used to have what we call localizations of what? Industries. Which means it will be advantageous for industries to be located at one particular place, We are not saying industries in Ghana should continue to be sited in Tema and around the big cities. You can take one region and say, okay, we now have 16 regions. Out of these 16 regions, you can go in and identify an area where there will be proximity to all the districts in that region. And then that place can be declared as industrial estate or industrial zone for the factories to be set up there, and they can all drive from what we call economics of what? Large scale, by localizing industry at one place. So going forward, as far as our agenda is concerned, though we have not launched our manifesto yet, President John Mahama has given a hint that there's going to be industrial zones for these industries to be spread evenly among the 16 regions in Ghana. So now our lesson is to communicate effectively with the Ghanaian voters.
And how are you going to do that?
Our presidential candidate John Mahama started it. This week he started what is called what we dubbed as what? Speak Out. So he's going to visit all the 16 regions in Ghana. He started with Northwest region, which was created out of the Western region. What is the essence of it? Is to engage with the communities there, listen to their aspirations and their wishes, what they want to see him doing. Should he be re-elected to power? And when he was even going to start our manifesto, he engaged with identifiable Ghanaian groups, professional groups, communities. For the first time, the Ghana Industrial Association.
You mentioned professional groups.
Yes.
That he's been engaging with.
Yes.
But he has not engaged with Ghana Professional Association, which is based here and then in Ghana.
No, I'm
part
here.
Of it.
No, I'm here. We sent out consultation documents.
Well, I've not seen it.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, we have gathered information from Ghanaian professional groups, and as a chapter representing the party in UK, we have sent our proposal to the manifesto committee.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. NDC UK and Randline chapter set up a manifesto committee, and which is made up of professionals in different fields working in UK.
Okay.
And we collated our views, and that we submitted it to Accra. So hopefully you will see some of the things that we have proposed. I mean, it's a proposal. Of course, the mother party in Accra will look at every proposal and decide which needs to go into the manifesto. So back to the point, what I'm trying to say going forward is that we are going to listen and engage more with Ghanaian voters. And all things being equal, come December 7th this year, they are going to renew the mandate for John Mahama to go back to Jubilee House to continue with wherever he left.
The issue is that last week, Bawumia was saying that he is reaching, the MPP are reaching people in villages, in areas, making a difference for their life. For example, they've been able to supply water, Doomso has stopped, free SHS, planting for food, a number of initiatives. They feel that they're creating jobs to help the people in terms of job opportunities. They mentioned NAPCO. So then, these are all challenges for NDC.
No, I don't see it as a challenge at all, because some of these policies that they claim they are implementing was started by John Mahama's administration. Let's take the free senior high school.
Yes.
I don't expect MPP to be claiming ownership of free HSS, because it is in the 92 Constitution. And I've said this severally. A Constitution, the then Danko Buzia tradition boycotted. When President or Chairman Rawlings set up the Consultative Assembly to draft the 92 Constitution, what he did was to take ordinary Ghanaians, not necessarily the Buziazis and the educated, farmers, fishermen, taxi drivers, were all asked to send their representative to the Consultative Assembly. The then Freedom for Movement and Freedom and Justice, headed by President Akufo-Addo that time, boycotted it because they felt they couldn't sit down with fishermen and farmers to deliberate on the way we could devise a constitution for our country. that consultative assembly came out with the 92 Constitution, and it was stipulated in the Constitution that there should be progressive, free, universal, basic education.
So why didn't the NDC do it? That's what people were saying.
I mean, what is different from what was happening under NDC? Let's go be clear. I mean, what is happening now, I have always advocated for it. Yes, we need free education. And the situation where some part of Ghana was getting free education and others were paying was not fair as a social democrat. So what they are doing now is to extend it to every part of Ghana. But without the educational infrastructure that was provided by Mills John Mahama administration, I think we would have been experiencing triple track and not double track. Even with the educational infrastructure in terms of the E-block that was constructed by John Mahama, the current system in the second cycle institution is finding it difficult to absorb the basic school leavers. Kula, you are in this country. Let's be fair. Ghana or African countries, we copy things blindly. We don't learn how other countries are doing it. The model we wanted to use, we are not saying we are going to abolish boarding system, was to create more day schools, and then majority of these school leavers leaving junior secondary school will be enrolled into the day schools. In this country, you and I know, all public second cycle institutions, I will tell you, are almost 99% day. Children going to secondary school in this country go to school and they come home to their parents. There's no provision for them to stay. Now we have a system in Ghana where children are being scattered all over the country. They can take a child from Accra and place him somewhere in Boko without accommodation facilities. These children are being made to live in unregulated and unsupervised hostels. And no wonder we are seeing the kind of social vices these free HS students are displaying. So back to the point, and that is why John Mahama said if he is re-elected, the free senior high school will be reviewed. And because they are so narrow-minded, or they are...
But the NPP can review that themselves.
No, but they are... Okay, any good social intervention policy...
That is part of supervision.
Exactly, but I don't know... Review. Well, but they are not reviewing it. That means, as part of their program, they didn't make provision to review the system. They didn't make a provision. If they had thought about reviewing it, they wouldn't have been saying that John Mahama is coming to cancel.
You feel that instead of saying review, you should come up with a point to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
No, but if you don't review and identify what the issues are, how are you going to address them? Of course, we know there's double track. A lot
of the parents know what needs to happen.
Yes, and that is why we are going to review. We have to consult. There will be national conversation of all stakeholders. Of course, the parents are major stakeholders. If I say national conversation,
will take place? Will it take place before election or after?
No, well, they are in charge now. Because how are we going to review it if we are not in government? We have our ideas. We have the expert groups who are trying to think ahead, because we are definitely winning this year's election. So we don't want to be taken by surprise. So we have expert groups working on various sectors of the economy. And as soon as President Mahama takes office again, we'll set up the ball rolling on how we are going to review some of these programs to make the system fit for purpose.
When it comes to MPP or NDC,
yes,
which one of you do you feel that work with the people in terms of what the voices of what the people, and the voices of the people,
exactly, it's NDC.
How?
I mean, the approach.
But then, if it's NDC, how did they vote them out?
Well, as I said, Nana, the then presidential candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo, embarked on unconventional politics. The promises
Like,
were...
give example. Our listeners want to
look,
know.
one dam, one village, one dam. Geographers will tell you that.
Are you saying that confused people?
That confused people. Because if you come to my village, you know what happened with this one dam, one village thing. He went to Bolga, I remember. And I think one of the chiefs were complaining that, oh, during dry season, they are finding it difficult to cultivate. Oh, and Nana just said, oh, vote me into power, and then I'll provide one village, one dam for every village. At that time, we didn't even know, he didn't even know, even up to date, the number of villages that will be suitable for these dams. And no wonder some of these dams, the first was Harmattan, rainy season washing them away. And during Harmattan, some of them dry up because of the Harmattan. What kind of dams are we constructing? I remember one village chief described a dam as a football field. So there was no proper thinking into how some of these policies were being sold to Ghanaians. It was just like to tell Ghanaians, this is what we are coming to do. Just take this week. I remember, before the 2016 election, President Akufo-Addo visited United States, and he went to a town hall meeting, and the issue of NHIS came up because Ghanaians were complaining. And I still remember, he said, oh, I have all the solutions to the problem confronting the National Health Insurance Scheme. But that, I'm not going to say it, because if I say it now, President Mahama will steal my ideas. My brother, when I heard that, I said, are we serious as a country? And this is a man leading a party, holding itself as what? A patriotic party. So because you think if you disclose what the issues are, then your opponent, who was then the president, will steal your ideas. So he wanted Ghanaians to die because he didn't want Mahama to implement it. But I wasn't worried, because I just said to myself, it's the usual politics. I don't think he had any ideas how to solve the problem at the time. November 7th last year, he said, oh, I fixed all the problems facing National Health Insurance Scheme that your Mahama created. Yesterday, healthcare providers are threatening to withdraw their services because they have not been paid whatever money they owe the scheme.
Did the NDC also experience issues with payment during their term?
Yes, but we set up a cross-party committee. The current education minister, Napo, Frimpong Manso, I'm just calling from the MPP side, and some prominent members of MPP were on that committee. And it was chaired by a renowned health economist, Dr. Chris Atim. And the whole thing, yes, we said as a scheme, every program have his teething problems. So the committee was set up, and your Mama, in his own wisdom, did not set up a partisan committee. It was cross-party. And I've just mentioned from MPP members that served on that committee. The committee completed its work. It was presented to President Mahama. He was about to implement it, and as we all know, we lost the 2016 election. Of course, if he's elected today, the work was already done, though MPP has caused more harm to the scheme. So I expect his next coming, another committee will be set up to provide an addendum report on whatever work the Chris Atim's committee did, so that we don't delay in trying to make the scheme fit for purpose.
But considering that
But what I'm saying is that if in November last year, Nana told the whole world that he has fixed the problems, then how come that the care providers are now saying they are going to withdraw their service because the amount of money that they are expecting from the scheme is too high? They can't continue to operate if they are not getting their money back.
Care providers, are you talking about all of them as a unit or as a group, or are you talking about individuals.
They have an association.
Yes.
So, I mean, the whole association, that's even dangerous. So if nothing is done, come 1st March, there's going to be cash and carry. And you should know, they can't just give that short ultimatum. I'm sure they would have been following the government for the past months and nothing is happening. And that's why they are now threatening to withdraw. I'm just telling the whole world that the kind of government we have in Ghana, they see the reality and they will try to cover and pretend that everything is fine. Because you are not paying statutory, you are not meeting your statutory obligations. The national health insurance, the contribution of the government is statutory payment. Wow. The district assignment common fund is statutory payment. You don't pay all these basic things and you claim the macroeconomic indicators.
You think the voters see this way as you are talking about? Because to them, Nana has recently provided ambulance, then they have the drone, you know, and the way things are going, like some of them, I was watching a video and some people in marketplaces, they kind of seem happy about it. Do you feel that is what you are saying is the same thing that the voters are saying?
Ambulances, fine, it's for an emergency. And who is praying for health emergency? Though it's inevitable. We are not minimizing the importance of ambulances in healthcare delivery. But a situation whereby the basic, a universal service like ambulance is politicized. And we have to go and do fanfare at Independence Square to commission. We delay it just because we want to use it for propaganda. That is our problem. And as John Mahama said recently, assuming if there's any serious crisis, where are you going to take the victims or the patients to? The health facilities that was provided, the Legon Hospital, all those facilities that Nana administration has refused to commission, just because he doesn't want President John Mahama or the NDC to get the credit, is where the problem is coming from. I mean, for Nana, trying to, symbolism is part of his government. Just put it there. Ambulances is there. Because some of these hospital districts or the constituency has provided, those that I know, they don't even have a basic health facilities. They don't have. And you see, I mean, a country like Ghana should be strategic. Take this country. The ambulances service are not distributed even among districts or let alone constituencies. They have a pool of ambulances divided into geographical area and they are all packed there now, with proper networking.
Our listeners also want to hear something they've been testing. To say that no, we're going to a different area. I know you want to talk about ambulances. That if we are in for a fight regarding the coming elections, you know, almost say the former president John Mahama has said that should NPP should wholeheartedly accept the outcome of the 2020 elections in peace, and hand over power, just like what he did in 2016. The former president repeated and has repeated or reiterated that he wants the NPP to know that in 2020, if they lose the elections, and the NDC becomes victorious, they should hand the power over to them. This is what Mama is saying. And he's also reported that they do not want the NPP to repeat what they did in 2012. After winning the 2012 elections, they took them to court for almost a year, disputing the election results. Now, today, Mama is saying that, I mean, when I call their camp, they are saying that they want to tell the NPP that they do not want them to repeat that this time around. If they become victorious in 2020, they want them to hand over peacefully. But Nana also said this yesterday, and this is why we are saying as voters, you know, as Ghanaians and individuals, are we in for a fight? Because Nana is saying, President Akufo-Addo, Nana Addo is saying, on the other hand, you know, was speaking at the 20th anniversary celebration of the founding of the Tertiary Students Confederation, you know, TESCON, on Tuesday in the voter region. Nana say he will not allow any sore loser who will lose to laugh to create conflict on or after the polls. But he wants to assure him that there will be no strife, there will be no conflict after December 7th general election. The good sense of the Ghanaian people, which has preserved the peace and stability of the Fourth Republic for 27 years now, Nana say he believes will continue to prevail. They will not permit any poor, desperate loser to cause any chaos.
Okay.
Or say Ghana, Nana say Ghana is bigger than the ambitions of any of us. So are we now? The NDC is saying this about the coming election. Say MPP Lusua, and they say hand it over in peace. The MPP are also saying say, and the NDC Lusua also somehow. What is going on with this kind of tension? And I feel say as voters, or citizens of the country, it's making us uncomfortable from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, as Ghanaians, we should be concerned. But what President Mahama said is not out of order, because as a country, we need to be guided by history, learn from our past. NDC is the third political force, if you may put it that way. We have the Dankobuzia, the CPP, and NDC tradition. Even before the advent of the 92 Constitution or the Fourth Republic, the UP tradition, that is their stock in trade. Anytime they lose this election, then they have problems with the outcome of the election. They did that to Dr. Nkrumah even before independence. And during Nkrumah's administration, we all saw all the attempts they were doing to try to subvert the constitutional rule at that time. And that made Nkrumah to even pass the Preventative Detention Act of 1958. That didn't stop them. They went further, bomb throwing, and in the end, Nkrumah was left with no option than to declare Ghana as one-party state. That is history for the history historians or students of history and political science. But let's take ourselves to the Fourth Republic. In 92, if you remember, the parliamentary and the presidential election were held separately. The presidential was in November, and the parliamentary was supposed to take place in December. And when they lost massively in November at the presidential polls, you know what they did? They boycotted the parliamentary election in December and went on to compile what was popularly known as the stolen verdict. We know them. But you see, in 96, Rawlings defeated them again. They still cry foul. They claim all kinds of things went wrong. So for them, any outcome doesn't suit them. Then there's something wrong with the process. And in 2012, when Mahama used only 3 months or 6 months to defeat them, what didn't we see? We spent the whole 8 months of 2013 because somebody felt it was his natural right to rule Ghana. And that wasted our time. Take NDC as a tradition. There's nothing on record saying that we have ever vigorously rejected any results in Ghana. We may have our issues, but we always try to put the interests of Ghana first. So what Mahama is saying, all indicators is pointing to resounding victory for NDC come December 7th. Nothing is going to stop that. Nana can stop it. Jemensa can stop it. We are winning. But if that happens...
You said you are winning. The MPP are saying...
No, we are winning. We know why we lost the last time, but I'm not going to say it publicly. And we are tightening all the loopholes now. We are winning. And if Nana dare say he's not going to accept the results, then that's what Mahama is saying.
So
we are not going to allow...
Abba. Now, you say, okay.
Look, and let me give another example. In 2000, the whole world they were watching Ghana. And that's why I still think the international community, they have not been fair to President Rawlings. I think he should have been nominated for Nobel Peace Award. Because 92 people were saying, oh, 2000, Rawlings will not hand over. He handed over peacefully. In 2016, we were optimistic that we were going to win. The results came and we were not happy. We lost. But John Mahama did not hesitate a minute. He came and considered defeat to President Akufo-Addo, and he was sworn in. We didn't go to court. We have our issues.
But Nana said,
but we don't want a situation where they'll be, and this defeat will be painful because we are going to unroot them from Jubilee House. We are going to do that. We will do that, and we expect them to hand over peacefully, just like your Mahama and then Rawlings did. We
what
don't
our
want any
voters
trouble.
are saying is,
Yes.
what is the difference between what Nana said and then Mahama said? Because Joyce Bauer is saying that Nana should retract and apologize for smelling his reputation over the voters register impulse. And Nana should not have said what he said.
Yeah, you see, we all know.
But both sides are kind of saying similar things.
You see, what is happening with the new voter register? I'll touch on it. Look, timelines is very important in election management. The Electoral Commission, led by Madam Jane Mensah, are desperately working hard to create political crisis in Ghana. And Nana, for whatever reason, he is not doing anything as the father of the country to prevent that. In principle, we are saying, look, we don't need a new voter register because we use that register to conduct the referendum to create the new regions. We use the same register to conduct the recent district assemblies election and unit committees elections. So what has changed, and all of a sudden, the register that gave MPP over 1 million votes they claim, now is not credible, and they want to compile a new register. And so far, you listen to their argument, it doesn't add up at all. They want to introduce facial recognition. Facial recognition is not perfect. The biometric is more accurate than facial recognition. And biometric...
Why? You mean fingerprint, but the police use facial recognition?
No, it expires quickly. It's not accurate. It is not. You know it. And you see...
Have you tested it?
And that is why we are a bit worried, because you don't implement such a new
Citizen Bashar on
let me finish. You don't introduce such a massive project on a major general election. If they knew they wanted a new voter register,
but they said they will do it. Wait for them.
No, we don't want them to do it. If the system crashes on the election day.
But the system has not crashed. Allow them.
No, but we want to protect our country.
In what way?
Because no system is perfect. Nothing is perfect. They may claim that it's more superior and sophisticated than existing
Citizen
one.
Bashar is saying you are propagating falsehood about the about everything that you are saying.
Well, it's general comment. Falsehood. He said falsehood. Which one am I going to respond to?
This is what citizens say.
But let me learn. You see, so what is happening? Just before the council referendum on to amend the constitution to allow Ghanaians to elect, to directly elect their municipal chief executive. You know, a week before President Akufo-Addo made the pronouncement, the Electoral Commission had already instructed their regional officers to stop disbursing money that was meant for the referendum. And that time when I heard, I said, look, this is another evidence that the president is dictating to the Electoral Commission. And then later on, the Electoral Commission came out to say, okay, they are calling off the referendum because the president said it shouldn't come on. So there are all indications that the EC is not neutral as they claim to be. And this is not the first time we are going to a general election. Anytime there's going to be compilation or if a new voter register, there's always consensus among the major stakeholders, especially NDC and MPP. And they will have a situation where a major political party, the main opposition party, is warning the Electoral Commission that the time will not permit them to introduce a new technology and they are still bent on doing it. So if John Muhammad said if there's any problem on the 7th December, the minister should be held accountable, is 100% right. Because he has seen, he has the authority not to do it. I hear this kind of argument that, oh, legally and constitutionally, no one can stop EC from compiling register. That is true, but we expect them to make a reasonable and rational decisions. Look, if you compile the register today, the laws requires the Electoral Commission to furnish the political parties with the voter register latest by October, November. Clear. Now, the timetable they have proposed that they will start it from the 18th of April to the 23rd of May. That is if all things being equal.
But
it's going to be farming season. They may not be able to cover all these areas.
Why don't we trust?
We don't.
Skills.
No, what skills? This is people that claim that they use almost 12 months to even train their officers to use the existing system that they claim is not sophisticated. And you are introducing a new system. Where is the time to train your officers? And don't forget, early last year, they opened limited registration. If they knew they were going to introduce a new technology together, why did they waste Ghanaians' time to go and register during the limited registration exercise?
Sorry.
So you see, when myself and you were in this country, when was the last time they asked you to come and register?
We will let you
your electoral roll?
Thank you.
I put my name on the electoral register in this country since 2000.
Hold on.
And my name is always there. And it applies to you. So how come that in Ghana, every time there's election, we have to compile a new register? And we don't even have the money to do it.
We will let you continue. Hold on, please. Pachawan friend, Hello? Hello?
It's off. I will continue.
Oh.
So you see, we have a situation where the Electoral Commission is trying all their best to make sure that they do the bidding of the government of the day. But one thing they are forgetting to understand, to appreciate, is that Ghanaians are very alert when it comes to their democratic rights, and nothing will stop them from voting the incompetent Nana Addo administration out come December 7th this year. Nothing is going to stop them. Because as your mama said during his recent tour, that they have to assess their living condition before casting their vote. It's clear that things have been deteriorating since President Akufo-Addo came to power. But they are not seeing it. Because the few of them are benefiting from the wealth of the country, they don't know what is happening to the majority of Ghanaians.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening,
sorry, line cutting. But you want them friend?
I'm your friend, citizen.
Oh, citizen Manenko, why?
Oh, okay. The chairman. I can understand struggles or struggles. You see, politics in Ghana, no catch propaganda doesn't sell anymore. Because we are in the echo, and we are all students of political history. Look, he's sitting there propagating, saying the text saying propagative, falsehood because NHIS. When we took over in 2017, NHIS, now it was in arrears of 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. 3 years arrears, 2014, 2015, 2016, they couldn't do anything about it. Only an arrears of 1.2 billion. And that was what in November 2000 and last year November, last 2 years November, and we've been able to clear that 1.2 billion. And as we all know, probably he doesn't know. It is always in arrears, at least 3 months. At least 3 months. And it's a day or to see the one or probably NHS arrears 3 months, about when you're income. then you should understand here NDC and is super incompetent. What I'm 3 years, 3 months old. 3 good years arrears.
So your main question is for him.
My main question, they said, what did they do differently? Because almost they cut 3 solid
What
years
did you do differently is what citizens want.
I don't know what
Okay, thank you.
I mean, this is the problem we have as a country. The healthcare providers are not NDC.
Thank you.
They are not a wing of NDC. They are ordinary Ghanaians doing their business.
Let run off, then you can go. Okay, run off, then you can. Yeah.
Why don't you know? Myself. Only the moral right to criticize the providers at 3 months. That's almost 3 months allowed.
Look, my brother. I think a citizen, I don't think he's getting the point. This is not propaganda. Nana in November 7th, I read it today.
Hold on, please.
Claimed that he has fixed all the problem confronting national health insurance. And today we are in February. That means less than 3 months. So if he's even claiming the arrears is just 3 months, I don't think 3 months arrears alone will be forcing the care provider to say they are withdrawing their services. I have been speaking to people in that sector. The thing is not sustainable. It's very scary because we all need health insurance. We have registered for our relatives in Ghana. They go to hospital, the medicine is not there. You still have to spend money for them to go to private hospitals or private pharmacies to buy. This is the reality on the ground. So if those stakeholders like the healthcare providers are threatening and you are minimizing it, still trying to play politics of it, look, and that's what I said earlier on. No system is perfect. And President John Mahama acknowledged it. And that was why he set up a cross-party committee.
Hold on.
I've made that point. We were not saying during our time in government everything was perfect. But we didn't politicize it. So Mahama didn't go around telling people that he had the solution to the thing. He was asking all Ghanaians, regardless of their political persuasion, to help him address the challenges.
Thank you.
But we have Nana claiming that he had the solutions. We have given him the country to rule for 3 years. After 3 years, we are still confronted with the same problems that he said he didn't want to address or prescribe the solution because Mahama was still his ideas. That is the problem we have as a country. And Nana need to always put Ghana first and stop thinking about his MPP party.
I think we lost Abawa.
Yeah, I mean, let's
Let me try and see. Yeah, I mean, you heard what Citizen is saying.
Yeah.
We'll be going to the next point.
Yeah.
At here for and it seems like say technical kakranti am on WhatsApp on here. I think say more intimi one the frontier abasa, but reception no I very not really into Esremo am on
Yeah.
I mean, you heard about the Airbus,
yes.
And a lot has been said.
Yes.
And considering that the NDC are of the view that, following talking to their camp, today they are of the view that, they have almost strong policies and almost ideas in terms of coming back to power and all this.
Yeah.
But could the Airbus scandal affect Mahama's 2020 chances?
Not at all. Airbus,
Because as you are aware, UK court documents reveal that the bribery scandal happened in between 2009 and 2015, when the NDC was in power.
Okay.
This is what it's saying.
Yes.
And it emerged that some top Ghanaian officials allegedly received bribes from Airbus to grant the company business favors.
Yes.
It's like a business favor,
Okay.
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Okay.
Now, Mahama's, for some reason, his administration has been fingered in this matter.
Yes.
Could this affect his campaign? Although although Mahama's name was not directly mentioned.
Yes.
However, do you think that the fact that he served during that administration
Yes.
could affect his campaign
Yes.
ahead of the December 7th elections?
Nothing. Look, the Airbus saga, to me, is much ado about nothing. My brother, Kula, have you read the judgment, the Saturday court county?
Mr. Kola, it tries our friend.
Okay, let me. No, I thought we were going to finish before the questions will flow, or otherwise they will disturb. You have just
let's
asked
take this
important
one.
question.
Yes, let's take this one, then we go on the important. But I want to friend.
Kula, Kwesi, very Sheffield.
Oh, okay, Mr. Kwesi from Sheffield. Yes. Bacho Manunko, why?
Yo, Chairman, good evening.
Evening, Abada.
Kula, why is it that the NPP chairman is always afraid to come and debate? Because most of the time, the NPP chairman should be bold and come and debate issues, but it's not coming. Let me go on to my...
Why? Okay. My request. Are you NDC? My request, and I believe that Alhaji Mbaba of NDC as NDC chairman has repeatedly been requesting a face-to-face talk with debate, a face-to-face debate with Pani, who is MPP's chairman.
Yes.
And even today, coming on, he said to me before the program, this is what he said, that you want a live debate with the Ghana community, you and him sitting down, taking questions from the public. And I'm ready to take over it. We are ready at Omega Live, so we will put the request to the MPP team so that we can negotiate the live debate in Broadwater Farms, both MPP and NDC, live, Omega Live. Why? Who do you
even radio, we want to hear the MPP chairman speak to issues because they are in government and they are afraid to come. Kula, let me make a quick submission. Kula, you know what? You see, our MPP brothers, sometimes they are behaving like they took over through military regime. I don't understand them sometimes. So, Kula, I have asked that free SHS, where is the policy document from MPP? Because the free SHS is a national issue. Where is the policy document? Kofi Bento, who is a civil society guy, he said this MPP government has collected 6 billion oil money. What have they used the money for? Kula, finally, before I land, you see, these MPP people, sometimes I don't understand them. Kumasi always give them votes to come to power. Since they came to power, they've collected huge sums of money from the state for development. But if you ask them to mention one thing they have done in Kumasi, they can't even mention it. On the IMF reports, if you go to Class FM online, you find it. World Bank is cautioning Ghana about excessive borrowing.
Kumasi, roads, a lot of the roads have been done.
They are not doing anything. They are stopping the money on salary.
When was the last time I called Kumasi?
Yo, we are here to see. They should not go to TV. We'll go and have a look. Before I land, you see, IMF is warning Ghana. The rate at which Ghana is borrowing is scary. Because currently we are close to 220 to 230 billion Ghana cedis, Ghana debt. And we're going to spend about 22 billion per annum to pay interest alone on debt. And you see, our revenue generation is nowhere.
That was it.
We can manage. So Kessler said they should tell us what they have used the state money for.
Okay.
What have they used money for?
Thank you. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to add, you see, our debt level is at the same level that President Kufuor took us to EPIC. EPIC is highly indebted poor countries. And we are almost there now, despite the fact that we have oil fund now. And 10 years along the line, a party that claimed that we sit on resources, Bawumia claiming, oh, he was working at Bank of Ghana, we have the money, and they are now borrowing, unprecedented in the history of Ghana. And you don't see what they are using these monies for, apart from supporting their family and friends' government. So it's too scary. We borrowed, and the evidence is there for you to see. Let's go back to the...
No, I will let you know, Alaji, I'm not stopping you from talking about the Airbus situation, which I will let. But this caller has been calling and calling. Please, the line cut off. Why? Yes, sir. But I want a friend after free. Oh, about the founder of Nanadu Ladies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unim biaba, I mean, your emergency be. Na yebeba. Yeah, why? Next time you know why? Yebe sasa. Why? Yebeba. You now when what Alhaji Mbaba, chairman of NDC, as I was in there, or your question and answer session with the public. Me pacho NDC chairman on why, Mr.
You can have it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't before I move.
Oh, I didn't me pacho about go straight to your point. Yes, you.
I told America 7 million and go for what Ghana say. What you talk about saying, and the compare Ghana, registration in Amato. What would the say? I come my head about who fat barrel box. Only what some barrel and you have nothing. Now they will keep on my movie. A poor potato. If you put a dog or 2 bad, the bear now or I will put out water ID card, people almost any day of him. It will put to me, here I am one father. Yes, I will do one. Yeah, what to? And look in that. Ghana 4%. They didn't be on my Ghana. What also them print and the end. What also about the power, I said, what is what you can do here? Yeah, before what the moment. And in crowd, they might like this and because in Piano, the workers come around and summit and crack from it to the top of another book. There is a meeting for much. Say, you see, I focus. Now, I know on the 18th of April, or Pieta, or Piano 20 years. All kinds of work, but I won't go to you. No, I'm not seeing now. Only the book for I said, Asuno. Now, I want to be Asu. Yes, you were about for. Yes, God said it before you always come for every never power bra. Now, what I said, yeah, me I like it. And now, many partners, no penny, no value in your name, the first canal, you don't too much, you know, and what I said, yes, stop for everything into it. What I said was that. And just so within 12, never by force.
Yo.
About 12, and by force. The over what's the form of trouble. Obi anka omasu entro IBM enti esra omo message ni me dey mo me say on can say the go for say our radio UK say ye voters register me say ye new voters here so they go to the this for ye trade you bam simple.
Yo. Yeah. Where the Elijah thing in over answer.
Yeah, I think my sister, you see, we are talking about consensus building. If we take the history of voter register in Ghana, all the time the reforms are being led by MPP. We NDC always try to accommodate them. There's never been time in Ghana where a voter register was compiled without consensus. We started without a voter ID card. The MPP said they want a voter ID card. They want transparent ballot boxes. NDC agreed to all this. They proposed this biometric. We all agree. This one, all what we are saying, we need to come to some kind of agreement. It's as simple as that. And where there's no agreement or consensus on such major thing, the independent arbitrator, which in this case the Electoral Commission, need to take a step back. Because at the end of the day, we are not going to, NDC is not asking for a new system.
The Electoral Commission also change your position. So then, what?
No, that's what I'm saying. You see, what they are saying, they are going to plunge the country into serious crisis. But let's pray that wisdom will be brought
How?
to bear in the way they are.
This is why I asked at the beginning, is there a fight coming?
No, there's no fight. But if people are saying don't do it, don't do it, and you think the only way you can do it because the Constitution has given you that right, then you need to re-examine yourself. I mean, the president has the right.
But they decided and said they will go ahead. So
well, they have not finished yet. Like the last week when we went to IPAC meeting, NDC and some other parties walk out of the meeting. So we are waiting to see. As far as we are concerned,
do you think they're walking out to know a solution without looking for solution?
But if I sit down with you to find a solution to problem, you come across as rigid, you don't want to shift from your position. I'm not going to sit down there and then you come out and say, oh, I was there when
but
we
then
took
they
decision.
could also say the same thing to the other side.
And that is why we need to agree and talk. Because look, even the equipment they have now, they are not going to distribute them evenly across the country. They are going to be rotating them. And we know Ghana how things are. There have never been any compilation of election register without extending it. And if we dare extend it, we are going to go into territory where the timeline by which the Electoral Commission should be punishing the political parties with the electoral register, they will not be able to meet it. This is an Electoral Commission that has demonstrated that they are incompetent. Look, this woman, when she took over, said, Jane Mensah, that, oh, she's going to set up, what do they call it, a committee to consult on the implementation of ROPA. That's another thing I've not touched on. She announced beginning of last year, and the timeline was that come May last year, the ROPA committee will be submitting their views to not to Parliament, to the Electoral Commission, and they will in turn prepare a legislative instrument for Parliament to approve for ROPA to be implemented. That EC ROPA committee only visited one country outside Africa, and that was US in November last year. We're in February 2020, and yet we don't even know whether ROPA is coming on. So this woman and Jane Mensah, the way she is going about with the election management in Ghana is scary, and we need to be very careful that she doesn't cause serious political crisis in Ghana. So I don't believe that the timeline they have given for the compilation of the register, they can stick to it, because I have evidence to be suspicious, skeptical about that approach. So assuming even if they delay it, and don't forget, after the compilation of the register will be exhibited for the voters to come and validate their names, to make sure that their names is there before the final one will be compiled, and we don't have time for all this.
So how many foreign missions do we have? 60. We have about 60.
Well, that's what they claim.
Around the world.
Well, that's what they are saying, yeah.
Yeah, in the 165 UN member countries.
195.
Yes, we have 60. I think 60.
We have 60 missions, embassies, and our
embassies.
commission embassies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not enough.
For what?
Basically, in terms of ROPA. Is it enough?
No, how can they even think they are going to implement it in selected countries?
But we want to vote.
No, we want to vote, but you want to vote, but you don't want your brother in Green Line to vote. How fair is that?
But at the moment, you know, you have to go by where we have embassies.
No, who said so? Go back to the...
So how is it going to be fair to go to places where, how is it going
well,
to
that is the law. The law is the law. The original ROPA law, which was enacted in 2005, was clear. The Ghanaians living outside Ghana should be given the right to what? Vote in all elections. I repeat, all elections. That means both parliamentary, presidential, district assembly election, referendum, whatever you may call it. Unit committee election. There wasn't any discrimination. And for whatever reason, which is obvious now, successive electoral commissions or commissioners couldn't implement it because of the logistics and the difficulties they are likely to encounter. Now in 2017, when
This has been going on.
I'm coming. Let me give you the background, and Ghanaians will understand. Look, it's good we all want to vote. That's fine. But the law is saying every Ghanaian and not some particular Ghanaians. So this issue of they are going to do it in where we have, I'm yet to see, because there's nothing official from the Electoral Commission. But what I'm trying to say, if we go to the original law, the law clearly stated that every country, every Ghanaian living outside the jurisdiction of Ghana should be given the right to vote. We have not implemented it. In 2017, when the 5 Ghanaians took the matter, listen, the matter was not sent to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
It was sent to Accra High Court.
Yes.
The High Court don't interpret Constitution.
Yeah, the Human Rights Division of the
Exactly.
High Court.
So if I'm the High Court judge, and then you present your case to me, this is a law that was enacted in 2005, and up to now the EC is not implementing it. What do you expect the judge to do? To issue what we call mandamus. Mandamus is to compel a public body to act.
Yes.
So that is simple.
But it was agreed
I'm coming.
to implement the law within 12 months.
Within 12 months. And then if you read the judgment, late Justice Anthony Yeboah went further to say that in the implementation of that ROPA, the ROPA should not be applicable to only the 5 petitioners. It should be extended to all Ghanaians. So where is this thing that we are going to do it in countries that we have foreign missions or embassies? That is selective and discriminatory application of the ROPA law. So for me, and besides their own timetable, which they were supposed to finalize everything by May last year, when February 2020, so we don't know what they are up to. So this is a commission that have demonstrated that they can't stick to basic time scales they have set up for themselves. So how can I trust them that they will be able to conduct and compile new register within 1 month and still exhibit it?
So why don't we just allow them to do it? And if they are not able to do it, then we can.
No, you are not getting what I'm saying. It's not. We can't turn the clock back. The problem is that come May, there's going to be election on 7 December. Because we are fed up with Nana. We don't want the election to be postponed just because somebody failed to produce electoral register. Because if for whatever reason they claim they are going to do it within 1 month. You are not but my brother, you are in this country. We use a lot of computer systems. Myself and you. In our area, you know, when I was reading about they are introducing new computer systems, and I went around and I was told they are using Oracle. You and I, most of the system we use in our professional life is Oracle.
Yeah.
Can you count the number of times that we are updating the systems?
Yes.
But anytime we are updating it, we don't abolish the database.
No.
We don't. We don't say because of all the clients we have, we are going to abolish it and come and register them afresh. No. That is the irrationality in whatever the EC is doing. You have your database already. You claim people are dead, so you can't account for them. You can't delete them. A common sense approach.
In Ghana,
please,
we come into institutional problems within our community. Then.
Why?
But at some point, but hold on.
A common sense approach is to say, okay, let's exhibit whatever register we have now. Those that they claim are dead, if they are not able to come and validate their names, then their names will be taken off.
Why this has not been done in consultation with universities in Ghana?
For what?
To find out that, okay, in their views, you know, what is their own position of this? Can this be done or not? They are
you see,
I mean, there are cases here in this country where consultation are done with universities that they will say, oh yes, this can be done. And we have this professor here who feels that he's a specialist in this area. He has tested the system and he feels that, you know what, he's competent enough to. Is it time for us to upgrade ourselves in terms of our learning style and ability to progress?
Well, I mean, the EC has taken a rigid position. Sometimes it's not good to say certain things on air. But the way they are going about it, I'm starting to think, oh, is someone going to get a kickback? Because they are bent on doing it.
And we have institutional problems. Our civil servant institutional problems.
Because a major case like that would have been opened up for consultation. The EC is not there in their own right. They are there to serve Ghana.
Are we using the universities enough in a lot of areas that we are struggling as a country in our communities and areas? Are we doing?
Well, I don't think we are making good use of the resources we have in Ghana, to be frank with you, because we always believe anything foreign is superior. Because whatever we are telling them, we don't need somebody to come from America or UK to tell them a new register may be problematic. Here they can change things sometimes. They don't even need to physically go to stations to register people. But we have not factored all this into whatever we are doing. They can afford to change their programs easily because they don't need to do it manually.
Let's move on to the Airbus. But
okay,
hold on.
the Airbus.
But this man has been calling.
Okay,
I know that.
Airbus.
Please, but I want a friend now, free. Okay. Yeah, could you man uncle?
Yeah, Airbus now almost around. You move from FP4. Pulling almost to say, KJT from 4.
I don't know, Kasa.
The Kasa landman.
Me say, I don't know, Kasa. I say MPP 4 is a KJT from 4.
Airbag now almost find
Because then you are saying that they are all criminals. When you are generalizing, which is
they are like KJT from 4. The special bottom not a not here, you. Since Nana don't need in Japan, Nana Gala.
Nana
Garam say.
Okay.
Okay, Garam say, and Mamma typically bed, you know, be airbag Namodi Canasa. Why, Mutu Mama.
okay. Wait a Mr. Kwajo. Mr. Kwajo. Chairman become Airbus in 170. Who bet 170? I guess will become why. Into your Dawasi Bebre.
Mamma can be here. Airbus no more can hear. Chairman, may how, may need almost say. No more can hear your and your maker. Who are my airbag? See, man, that 10 million. What would I do? Monkana airbag, Mamma, till baby, airbag. See, Mamma only me or 4 phone home.
Yo, Yadawasi Bebre. Thank you. The Airbus situation.
Yeah,
do you feel that?
Yeah.
You know, although Mama's name was not directly mentioned, you know. However, do you think that the fact that he served during that administration could affect his campaign ahead of December 7th election?
Not at all. I mean, look, the Airbus saga to me is much ado about nothing. But I'm not going to belabor much on it because that could be prejudicial. Because the special prosecutor has been instructed by the president to investigate. But what I want Ghanaians to understand is this. The Airbus case was not trial of individuals. It was the operations of Airbus that was put on trial. No individuals was dragged to testify as an individual. All the parties were there representing their legal entities, the companies. That must be clear. It will be unfair for the court to have found anybody guilty without listening to them as an individuals. You get what I'm saying? It was Airbus competitors that felt they used some means, which is common in every international business, to outsmart them. And the court found Airbus couple. No individual was mentioned. And if you look at the trial, I've read it religiously from A to Z. The court went further to say they have not lifted the veil, and that is why individuals' names were not mentioned. So I'm pleading to my fellow Ghanaians, especially in UK here. We can do our politics in Ghana and say all kind of rubbish. But what we are doing here, if we are not careful, people could be dragged to court for contempt of court. Because
although you are saying contempt of court,
let me clear. The court, in its own wisdom, decided not to mention any name.
Yes, they didn't decide to, but they also mentioned that documents revealed that the bribery scandal happened between 2009
No,
and 2015.
please, we are not coming
When
to
the
that.
NDC
Please,
was in power.
I'm coming. I'm not going to belabor on that. As I said, the special prosecutor, who was the Attorney General at the time, offer professional legal advice. During the discussing.
Our listeners may want to know what are some of it.
No, for now, that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't preempt. Like the special prosecutor, I for the first time since he took over, I commended him for his approach. He pleaded with Ghanaians not to politicize it. We should allow him to do his work. But you see, the president of the country himself has politicized the whole thing. Why am I saying this? We have all this outbreak of corruption scandals around the country. With clear evidence, the disappearance of excavators, disappearance of tricycles, mention them. All this, the president didn't see the need to instruct the special prosecutor to investigate. But a remote, something that is more or less on a fishing expedition, he has instructed the special prosecutor to investigate. Anyway, both the special prosecutor and the president are learned lawyers. They know what they are doing. But from where I'm sitting, the Airbus saga is much ado about nothing. But I'm not going to belabor it, because for
What's the difference between the Airbus situation
Yes.
and missing excavators debate?
missing excavator, the evidence is there. The evidence is
But
there.
the other one, the evidence is there.
No, the evidence is not there. Let me tell you one thing. Look,
officials took bribe.
you said bribe. Listen.
Yes.
Have you read the judgment? I don't think it's about bribe. No. Let's be careful we don't misconstrue and mispresent the facts. And listen, in countries where, there was wrongdoing, the countries have already started.
If you read the document, it tells you that it made that some top Ghanaian officials allegedly.
You are not getting what I'm saying. The point is that
Our viewers want to know. Yes.
let's not belabor too much on it. All what I'm saying is like a case before a court. The case has been referred to the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor, in his own wisdom, said, let's not politicize it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to my countrymen in UK here, they can say whatever they want to say in Ghana. But if they kept mentioning names, leaking, speculating, they could be dragged to court for contempt of court in the UK.
Okay.
That is the point I'm
Voters
making.
want to know.
Because the UK court in its own wisdom said,
in the perspective of voters.
so no judge has indicted any NDC official.
In the perspective of viewers, almost say, hold on. What is the difference between, this is what they are asking, say, missing excavators and Airbus? Is there any difference between them?
There's vast difference.
And what are the differences?
Look, the missing excavators.
No, the
Airbus. That's what I'm saying. Let's wait. I don't want to preempt anything. The special prosecutor, the time they claimed this alleged illegal commission, I will call it illegal commission, was paid to some officials in some countries, was the Attorney General in Ghana. And all those government officials that took part in the negotiation of the Airbus deal sought legal advice from the then Attorney General, Honorable Martin Hamiru.
Okay.
So for me, let's hold our breath here. So after the excavators with Nana's government, I feel sorry for Ghana. Look, the propaganda MPP used to come to power. Let's not make mistake and allow that thing to happen to our country again. Do you know Nana said he would put his presence on the line to fight Galamsey? He appointed a task force under the chairmanship of the Minister for Environment, Professor Frimpong. Look, and I said this is a very decent man. And then when I looked at people like them getting themselves into some of these scandals, my brother, sometimes I loses appetite for politics. The argument that, they are all the same. Because what else would Professor Manso would not be getting if he decide to play clean politics. He can decide to even abandon politics and concentrate on his medical profession. But you know what? If you look at the video, I think the man was put in a corner. MPP needs money to finance their campaign. You confiscate all these things, even if you confiscate things because they were involved in legal mining, you need to auction it, but you can't distribute it among your stakeholders. I'm going
to ask you something.
And let me tell you one. I
think our viewers would love to hear
this. Then the Minister for Local Government, today or was it yesterday, I read her said, oh, that they didn't give timeline for the addressing of the Galamsey problem in Ghana. And then even Germany took 30 years to clear their water bodies. That is not the problem. We are not talking about time scales. We are talking about the government of the day role in this Galamsey menace. And this is not the first time Armiyaw Anya's video captured Charles Biso. And what happened to him? Nothing.
So is there a difference here between the management of Galamsey during the NDC and the management of Galamsey during the MPP? This is what is there a difference?
You and I know when there is a social problem, it's difficult to unroot it. But what we need to do as a country to show that political commitment, we fought it. I remember Honorable Inus Afuseni, as the Minister of Lands and Forestry that time, did his best. My good friend Ayarga and the environment, they tried to solve it. We are not saying it's something that can be resolved overnight, but a situation whereby the government of the day is implicated.
Do you feel that we lack? Hold on, because this time I'm asking both sides of the parties. Do we lack the necessary skills, you know, to kind of undertake certain duties, certain areas of work in our country? No, to me, the NDC struggled during their time, and the MPP also struggling with the management of the Galamsey.
No, the magnitude of the Galamsey now is very serious. It's unprecedented. Whatever progress we have. Well, the whole government of the day is masterminding, has even monopolized Galamsey in Ghana. That is what we are seeing. You claim foreigners are doing in some Ghanaians are doing. You confiscated their equipment and you distributed it among yourself to go on doing whatever you are doing. And you look at the Central Regional Chairman of MPP. He made his money through Galamsey, and he's still proud doing it.
Should the minister resign?
Of course, any serious government would have fired him long time.
Do you think that
he should have been fired?
We have a problem in the way
the energy minister, all people in politics should have been
experience and knowledge in working in the UK here. Do you feel that we have a problem in terms of the management of our ministers, even the management of our resources as a country? You know, the way we choose kind of certain people in certain positions, because who supervises who?
There's no supervision in Ghana.
You know,
they claim they have ministry for evaluation and monitoring. Yeah, I think that minister needs to evaluate his performance and fire himself.
Because I think
you see, what is
where we have to help. We at Obiga Live TV, we want to help. In terms of all the distribution of these things, the supervision, trying to help in each sector. Who supervises who?
Nobody supervises anyone.
You know, so
because everybody is doing whatever he wants to do in Ghana. You know, so there's no accountability.
It becomes institutional problem.
Systematic failures in the system. And what is happening in Ghana, because of the patronage, because maybe when we were campaigning, you show your face doing in an next rally. Maybe you gave some contribution. So your reward is to be given ministerial appointment, regardless of whether you are fit to do that job or not. And that is what is happening. If you look at the number of ministers we ended up by having, I'm sure all of them were stakeholders in the MPP Limited company. So now they are in government. So this is the time for them.
You can have a little break. Why? Take this question from Mr. Malik.
This is the time for them to recoup whatever they have invested in their MPP Limited company at the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian. Just look at what they did to the factory they demolished at Trade Fair. I wept.
We will come to that.
This is a party. Okay.
We will come to that. Please take this question while you have a little break. Mr. Malik, long time.
Yeah.
Now, any fan I will share.
You
can't say about appointment. About
why?
It's a be when your appointment you
and people will not give him anything, even a sweeper. A cleaner he won't get.
Mr. Malik, wait, Mama, now, why? Wait here, what's simple?
Yes, good evening to you and the cherished listeners. Mechia, our chairman, Chairman One. I like you back.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, I like speaking to you.
Okay. Yeah, no, my tree is okay, so it's picture.
But you, now me said, who compare excavators and
Airbus. The difference in terms of corruption, yes, that's what I meant, yes.
Mr. Kula, me do we have a brain.
Are they?
Who shares two things now? That you can't compare the two. So see, I know what information.
Both of them as a country, we're losing money.
Yes. But who aqua court? But who young court? The aqua court, no. Or more fighting up. But I'm not for speculative. Now, the government has referred it to an agency to deal with it. Now, Sitia, you want to jump the gun. What information do you want from the chairman? It's what we read online and wherever. That is what he has also read. He hasn't gotten any more information more than what we've all read. Now, excavators are saying, I mean, there's every evidence, even Minister Nkura Bekai said 500 at Iraq. There are images online. People have been arrested. That is more important. That is what we should be discussing. But and yet, the Omar Fiama, a special prosecutor, so they won't find the reports by.
Yeah.
So how do we discuss that?
Exactly.
Yati was Mr. Malik. Yaluzuana. Oh, yeah. Mr. Malik, Yati the Okano, but the police has a role to play here. To help with the confidence in our country.
No,
you know,
where?
The police, say whoever is involved, should be arrested in the excavators.
Oh, in the excavators.
Yeah.
Why didn't the president direct the special prosecutor to investigate it?
You know.
So that is the partisanship that I'm talking about. Yeah, he's selective in whatever should be investigated. This one about the Airbus, for me, is much ado about nothing. I won't waste my energy on it.
Yes, please.
But I'm just warning Ghanaians. Otherwise, they will be dragged to court for contempt of court. If they keep on saying that they have mentioned some name, they are UK. They will be dragged to court. They should continue
contempt to court when we should learn from it so that this don't happen again. A review and a learning from it.
No, Mr.
But what are we reviewing? As he said, we haven't received the facts yet.
Mr. Kula.
Yeah, Mr. Malik.
Yeah, they are watching you.
Yeah. Oh yes, I know. And also yes, and Jubilee House and the Mama Camp, yeah, they are all watching. We know. Thank you very much. Yeah, the Oma say so.
And do you know that? The Obekabia, it will carry weight because who was groom her.
Yeah.
And the court hearing was here. Until one now correct.
Yeah.
You be misleading Ghanaians.
We are not misleading, but we have to learn. There is always a review. Says incident democracy in an area. You review the situation so that there is a learning from it. Lessons learned.
And you must, but you must be selective. When no a court case, Omar ruling, even who are waiting on, I don't know. If Biafra only court ruling no ever or but Ghana or Bibia or how do you discuss it here?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now the government, the president has directed the whole thing to the special prosecutor. Yeah. You know, he is the only one that can come here and get detailed information about whatever they want.
Well, good luck to him.
Coming to the excavators. And we've seen it. People have come, but you don't want to talk about it. That is my problem with you. That is what we should be discussing. NDC feel.
Mr. Malik, everybody said the contempt of court, excavators free to talk about it.
Because no, what we want to follow the procedures. You know how the court system works here. I mean, they have not mentioned it. You are going around speculating that it's so and so, and you are linking individuals to it. If it was that easy for them to mention names, they would have mentioned it in their judgment. People, the parties to the case were legal entities, not individuals. It was Airbus operation that was put on trial, not the activities of any individual.
What the Ghanaians want to know.
And then what I want you to know, people are claiming that there is ongoing prosecution or investigation in other countries. That is true, because in those countries, they would have identified some wrongdoing. In our case, nothing like that was identified. The special prosecutor offered the legal advice for the purchase of the aircrafts. So let's wait and see what he's coming out with. And then we can now evaluate it and learn lessons from it. So you are dropping the guy. Mr. Malik, we can't learn lesson when we are yet to hear what the special prosecutor is.
Chairman, you are not answering this. Our viewers want to know.
Yes.
With the management of Galamsey,
yes,
is there a difference between the way NDC manage Galamsey and the way NPP are managing it?
Of course, the difference is clear.
And who do the Ghanaians, our voters, trust? Because they have lost confidence now. They don't know what to do. What's your...
The difference is clear. Where's Asha Hoon? Where's Asha Hoon? What happened to her? Because he had some...
Can I answer? Maybe someone will come on.
Okay, and the NDC... Mr. Malik, who and the NDC... Gators were not flying all over the country. So that is the difference.
Mr. Malik, go on. You making your chairman happy and any
difference, Mr. The young man said that was the only thing they could do for a living. So the NDC government was trying to look for opportunities that they can move them into instead of and even make it more legal for them to do. This was the process. So much as we were against it, we were trying to pull them out of the Galamsey areas. That is the NDC. But NPP, they said that is what they can use to fund their party. Campaign.
That's too worried. It's dangerous.
The General Secretary said it. Osi Mobunko and yes I yesika emwa your party no. So you see where the selfishness is coming from. They don't care about what happens to our water. They want to fund the party.
Okay. Yebebusa MPP for no listeners in Ibisu. So almost frame, no almost view about this situation.
Good night,
Mr. Malik. Mr. Malik is open view.
Thank you very much. So you see, that is the problem.
Mr. MPP viewers to call in and also share their view about this. The management of Galamsey between MPP and NDC and their own position. Okay.
No, that Galamsey is clear, like my brother Malik rightly pointed out. Our time, the plan was to regularize it. Mining itself is not bad, of course, and even where it's done under supervision, the hazards and the risks of mining is always there. But because they were using unconventional means to mine, the NDC government under John Mahama was trying to bring them together into cooperative, train them so that they could minimize the effect. Nana play into
hold
that.
On, please. Yes, hold
said
on.
He's going to stop it.
Oh, hello. Hold on, please.
Not politics. He said he will put his presence on the line for it, only for him to turn around and be the general overseer of Galamsey in Ghana. I mean, it's disheartening. The problem we have in Ghana today, and the government is not acknowledging it, trying to always minimize it. I don't know where we are heading to.
I think we have a caller.
And he's asking for 4 more years. 4 more years, then the next time, how many excavators will be flying? is infiltrated will start like
so
Ghanaians need to be careful that they don't make a mistake.
It's a foreign call.
My greetings to your viewers or listeners.
That's it. But you're from say now free.
Pacho, you're from Kwame Ado, me free Holland.
Oh, welcome, Mr. Kwame. Welcome, Mr. Ado. Mr. Ado.
Chairman, me my money, you know.
Yeah, fine.
If you say Jumano, no, I am. You have already said it that the Airbus issue, there's nothing much
ado about nothing.
Yeah. So we've seen a time even Daimler and Star Auto, serious fraud office. Almost said they sold some trucks to Ghana Army. And even we had also Mabel and Johnson for some time ago, serious fraud office. I almost said they sold, they did some construction job in Ghana in which they actually used some means to get contracts. These are some of the things it actually happens. I mean, Reggie said the Airbus, they rather were using somebody to, get those contracts from the Ghana government. So these people were working on commission. In the verdict, there was nothing indicating say a bribe was paid to a Ghanaian official. There was nothing in there. But the claim would say, no, being in Ghana, official being a man, eventually they were able to get this contract. Look, we are in Ghana, President Kufuor time, our ambassador to USA, Dr. Beruga, Onya Cosmos for a group at the Cosmos. Ghana for this Jubilant oil. At the end of the day, that person, ambassador, not only he had a percentage share in our oil business. Only now was serving in the interest of the Ghana government, no. And I'm saying only you only your commission of Jubilee oil, say find it out. It is any way, we don't see anything beyond government official, whether the Obama regime or Atamos regime, will be anything wrong. The serious fraud office and then the special prosecutor will go in and go out, and then they will come out with nothing. It is that they didn't know MPP for and our NDC, we are not perturbed about what all this hula baloo they are talking about.
Thank you very much.
The case say, my Ghana, they pay investors about Ghana. Government who agenda say one district, one factory. I want to mean
Mr. Kwajo, remember special invitation. Now one day what join Omega Live TV all the way from Holland. That invitation. Why? It's in our 9 year only MPP for Ababe Shiawaha. Like I say, you debate about it. Why? You call on your free time and we will arrange for you to come and face them. Why? Who will be next use one?
No, thank you. I mean,
okay. In conversation with MPP's camp, according to the vice president, was when they come to debate about facts and figures, he is convinced that NDC will fall flat and have nothing to show Ghanaians. The government of the Lado has been in office for just over 3 years, even though there is still a lot to do. There is still a lot. Any objective assessment of their performance, according to Bewumia, we agree that they have performed much better than the situation that they inherited at the beginning of 2017, according to the vice president. Now, what's your views about this?
If I'm President Akufo-Addo, I'll stop Baumia from speaking. Look, the vice president is now a political liability. Ghanaians are laughing at him. He doesn't know. Because his propaganda this time around is not going to hold water. We'll go after him and expose the loopholes in his argument. It's as simple as that. I said it earlier on. If you go around borrowing on long terms, consolidating our debts in the name of debt profiling.
Hold on,
definitely, in the short term, you are going to think that you are the services on debt is low, but that is not what we are seeing. The way they have borrowed over the 3-year period is at a point where it's equivalent to whatever percentage of our gross domestic product that took us to hit it when President Kufuor came to power. The sad thing is that time we didn't have oil. We now have oil. They spend a chunk of that money on whatever they think will provide services without necessarily stimulating the economy to create jobs. How many jobs have they created? You mentioned NAPCO. NAPCO is a fiasco because NAPCO is not sustainable. NAPCO, we have an idea of what we are going to do if we are elected. NAPCO should be NAPCO for me should have been what we have in this country, the apprenticeship. The apprenticeship in this country, the employers or the companies are allowed to employ people who want to learn their trade. The government gives, I'm coming, another waste of our resources. You go there, you learn a trade. The government in this country give the companies tax holidays, and then they will use it to pay those on apprenticeship. You are learning a trade. So at the end of your learning, your apprenticeship, either you are employed to work wherever you are, or you go on to look for employment somewhere, or you start your own trade. But if you group unemployed, desperate graduates, I'm not saying it's not. In the short term, they may think they are benefiting. But what is the future of these NAPCO recruits? And even with that, they have to go.
Not only NAPCO, they have youth employment.
The way we do things in Ghana, look, it's all political. I have my brothers and sisters, they finish school, they want job. It's not people in power, nobody will give them job. I remember my brother came.
Are they written in their faces?
Well, we know each other. So that is the saddest situation. All what they are doing, that they are creating jobs. They are creating jobs for their food soldiers. They're political militias. That is what they are. We want a system that will be evenly. And that was the NDC's approach. So if Bawumia is saying their performance is better than...
He's saying that Bawumia
in what way?
The former president is in a dreamland. Was it our dreamland?
Let me tell you one thing.
He can never compare his administration to the MPP's achievement within the last 3 years.
But what do you expect him to say?
No, I mean...
This is a sinking ship. Of course, and they know John is a threat to them. So they are throwing every mad at him. But Ghanaians are discerning enough. This time around, their lies is not going to hold. Ghanaians are, I mean, listen to whatever happened when they interviewed some taxi drivers and the way they were complaining. Car Dealers Association, I ran, they are going to embark on demonstration. Wasn't this now government that claimed they were going to give them some tax concessions so that they can import the spare parts free into the country? Everyone is complaining in Ghana today. Everybody is complaining. I can tell you that is a fact. Put the politics aside, even the MPP guys, if you are not closer to the center of power and you are just an ordinary MPP supporter, you lift it up. I was in Ghana, when was that? When I went to Ghana for our presidential primaries, yes. When we were going, I put the NDC flag on my car just to see the response. And you could see the taxi drivers waving at us. There was even one who stopped me and said, look, my brother, I voted for MPP in 2006, but this time round, I'm going to vote for NDC. This was in what area? In Accra! In Accra! I'm telling you, in Accra. So the reality is clear. If Ghanaians want to be taken to the promised land, they just need to do the right thing and vote wisely by bringing your Mahama and NDC members of parliament so that we can move the country.
Hold on, caller.
We have made the infrastructure, half of the infrastructure. Even in Nkrumah, you can't compare. You understand what I'm saying? And the evidence is there. We are not lying. The hospitals, the health clinics, the e-blocks, all of them are there for Ghanaians to see. So if you are saying what are we going to do differently this time, the evidence is there. Our approach is
in terms of the management of the economy. What are you going to do differently?
these people are not managing the economy. It's on life support.
But we have said Mama will.
No. Half of Baumia with his wale economics, only God can protect Ghanaians. Look, I've just given an example.
And that has led
Malik
back to call again.
Let me call.
Malik, what's up?
You claim they are reducing the budget deficit. But if we have a government that are not paying workers, they are not paying the district assembly common fund, they are not paying national health insurance care providers, they are not paying our servicing our loans. Are
they paying the teachers allowance?
What teachers? How many teachers they threaten to sack them? They have not paid teachers. They are not even recruiting them, let alone to pay them. They impose embargo. And that's what Mahama is saying.
And the nurses allowance?
Is second coming, there will be automatic appointment, recruitment of recruits from the nursing training college and teacher training colleges. We can't have a situation where schools are there without teachers, hospitals are there without nurses, and you claim there's no money to recruit them. And you claim the economy is functioning. So if economy is functioning very well, the basic things such as education and health shouldn't be suffering.
338 achievements that Baumia was talking about.
No, that's utopian thinking. I think it's Baumia who is rather dreaming. I think he's paranoid because he thinks we are going to come after him, whatever promises. Look, the district factories they claim they are going to provide, they are not providing them. The dams that they constructed, as you can see, the evidence were there. Some were being washed away by rain, and others were forced to drive because of.
Let's listen to Mr. Malik, please.
Let's listen to
Mr. Malik.
Yo, Mr. Kula.
What is our question?
What is our question? But person me can be kakra me you few months me aka so
okay.
Pacho bebre.
Yo manenko.
Me kasa bi die. Ansa na akasa 77. Wow, MP4. Omo dentro bebre and at the bar by mo. And so still omo njaye. Entro
na bi ni den, atiefo no pese omote entro na wo kan.
Okay, entro ni be hwe. O say wo de wo kosrem da. Ye frɛ baby na Vrongo. Na Vrongo no omo MP a ye frɛ no Mr. Honorable Ada, Kofi Ada. Papa onim ohia e wo na Vrongo. And wakoye MP. Or call more. Sisia almost see yansan call picky forms. And go contest for primaries. Mr. Kula, who they can correct. In fact, me you are hope. Papa the helicopter, Air Force. Pull from Accra to or Kwako submitting the forms. Membra. Your friend said, oh yeah. Bo a ekunim crofo hono or the headquarters from Accra to Navrongo Central or Kwako submitting the forms. There was nothing emergency about it or submitting the forms back. Now okwa we ma some okwa or see as I vote no baka Obema Navrongo are done modern city. Massa, you haven't done anything for the past 4 years. Yes, I'm more 4 years. Not what done Navrongo into a modern city. Now, can you use 4 years to turn it into a modern city? The same thing, and Nanado Kaya. Osi Votuman within 18 months. He'll change Ghana. Any and then.
Yo, yeah, that was it.
Yes, listen to that was it. And Ghana for we have to think twice. More than that, honestly.
Yo, yeah, that was it. Yeah,
I mean, the abuse of power is just clear. Selective and discriminatory application of rule of law. Ministers abusing their power. How can a parliamentary candidate use a private military helicopter to go? I think picking of form or is it submission of form?
Do you feel, say?
Yeah. What kind of waste is that?
Yes, sign. All ministers go by the rules. No, a sign before we take a position. Say your access and access declaration. And everything. Will it make a difference in terms of the improving Ghana, irrespective of which political party is in power?
Yeah, I think we need that. People, the access declaration act need to be robust enough.
And I think to all civil servant jobs, including the police.
Yeah, you see, as I said, the corruption in Ghana cuts across the politicians
and the pay they get in. It doesn't match.
You see, we need a political will to fight corruption, and not the lip services Nana is doing. I have said it before.
But then the NPP is saying it's the same for the...
No, we have track record when it comes to fighting corruption. We have track record.
How?
Because under President John Mahama, NDC appointees were being investigated. They were not clear. And at the moment, as we are speaking, we have a former MP, NDC member of parliament, serving a jail sentence. Honorable Abu Gapele, member of parliament for Paga, asked Ghanaians, since Nana came to power, all what he does is to clear his officers who has been accused of corruption. So the evidence is not about saying, oh, I'm incorruptible. If you want to make money from politics, then you have no place in my government. We heard all this when he was running to become a president. But now that he's a president, I can't remember the last time Nana said, oh, if you are looking for money, then stay away from my government. So now it looks as if you want money, go into Nana's government. That is the quickest way you can make money.
Confidence in the police force.
What police force? Look, I was saying from day one, I argued we didn't need a special prosecutor. And people thought we were just doing it for politics. It's the political will. We have that.
So what do you Ghana need then?
Let me tell you one. This political special prosecutor, how many years has he been in office? Since almost 2 years now. And he has not even prosecuted one person. The serious attempt he made was when he tried to take Honorable Ayarga to court. And that one he even encountered serious difficulties. At the moment, his position is even shaken.
Because of time.
Let me tell you one thing. So for me, as a country, we need to stop politicizing every national issue. Nana rode on the incorruptible horse to Jubilee House. Today, he's presiding over the most corrupt government in the history of Ghana. He's going down. And the fact that there's nothing directly linked to him, but the extent to which he's clearing, no one has ever been prosecuted since he took over. And some of those things, you don't need any specialist investigation to identify that this person is capable of that corruption. Ameridil,
from my understanding, the investigation.
But we don't which one are you talking about? Which one are you investigating? We don't even know. After Charles Bisu, he was clear. Ameridil, he claimed the Ajako misled him. What about the PDA? So there are more than enough evidence for a serious country to have asked for Nana to be impeached.
Okay.
Because some of these major deals, you can smell the hands of the president in it.
What is your view about the recent factory demolition of the 10 million printing press, which was recently demolished along with 20 other companies within the trade fair?
It's politically motivated. Straight away.
The whole thing is this. The question is this. When you are buying a land, there is a land issue. Asasi issue.
Yes.
Oh, your mind.
Yes.
Where when you are buying a land, you don't buy it from the government.
Yes.
You
buy it from the chiefs.
You buy it from
another person. Yeah.
And one chief or a greedier, ultimately as cinema 3 people or 4, or only one. Then the other factor they say they can sell lands which not supposed to be or ton. Is there a problem with one, the way land transaction are done, the land registry itself, no, also problem.
Yeah.
Because the way people own ownership of lands and the way it's managed, we need a restructure. Would you agree with that?
Of course, conveyance. I always say we need mandatory conveyance laws. Conveyance, and that's the buying of properties.
That's it, yes.
That's the law government. In this country, you and I know.
You think the government should take all the lands away from
Not
the
necessarily. Not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Find a way to
No.
them.
We are not in social. Even in communist states, these days, individuals own property. What we need to do. What I'm trying to say is this: in this country, you can't buy or sell a property without going through a solicitor.
Yes.
You know that. That's the process. And through that, the buyer and the seller will pay whatever tax they due to the state. And then the lawyers will do the necessary investigation to make sure that the title of the land, everything is clean before you can change contract.
Yes.
So sometimes you buy a property in this country, the buyer will go through the process without even seeing the seller.
Yes.
You
don't need to.
You don't even need to.
You even exchange contract
without even seeing the person.
Yes.
63 or 64 years of our history.
You like the house?
Independence as a independent state, we still have this basic issue. Sometimes I wonder whether we are learning from advanced democracies. These are basic. Like you said, we have the stool lands, the skin land, the private lands. But what is stopping us from making sure that all these lands are registered somewhere? And then when there's going to be changes of
I think
land,
there should be.
but you see, that's another day's discussion. The demolition. Yes, it's not the only person. For all you know, some MPP guys are there. But because Remo Acha is perceived to be anti-MPP, that could be the only reason. And my worry is that a country or a government that claims they want to create one factory in every district, and somebody has used a government that claims Ghana beyond age, a country
they are claiming that the land was based on unauthorized
and a party that claims it's a property owning party, or they are practicing property owning democracy, only to go around demolishing factories being owned by private individuals. Speaks volumes. I don't think if Raymond Acha was a known MPP activist or supporter, they would have treated him the way they did. But back to the way we do it. You know, again, let's continue to apply our experiences.
What they are saying is that the land is in the wrong place.
Let me come. Fine. What I'm trying to say is that you and I are here. Let's try to take some of the best practices. So here, even if you are going to put a small structure in a particular area, the local council for that area will advertise. I don't know, you have been receiving that.
Yes.
If people living around there to come and say whether that thing will be beneficial or it will cause environmental problems. Sometimes in my local area, if I think it's going to affect some green line or park, I'll send my views. As to whether they take it into consideration, that's another thing. And sometimes the whole community consultation to address. So how did they allow this man to put out that structure only for they to be demolished?
But he's not the only one in Ghana that is happening to.
And then listen to the chief executive for Transfer today arguing that that thing was blocking $1 billion US dollar investment.
That is sad. And warrants an investigation
from South Africa.
Yeah,
and because of that, so you prefer your foreigner to your own.
Apart from that,
look at the number of people that are going to lose their jobs through this demolition. You bring all these foreigners, they do whatever business they want to do, and they repatriate the profit back to their countries. But this is an indigenous Ghanaian who has told to invest to bring that factor to that level, and only for it to.
Whose responsibility should have? Negotiating for that demolition. Was it not say in land registry be involved rather than say a Kroman and BBC yes here? You, the owner, will report to your solicitors. Then the matter will be in court.
In fact, Raymond said they were in court. They were still going through the court process.
But then you got.
I mean, even under military rule, we didn't experience what is going on in Ghana now. It's a shame.
But my interest here
you see,
is for the whole Ghana. Say the way I am for not tons. I say, aging kofosikadi. Now kofo we have not had solutions during the NDC administration.
That is what I'm saying. I think I've spoken to a friend of mine who is a lawyer, and I was telling him, look, the lawyers in Ghana, you can make money for yourself. As a Ghana Bar Association, work through Parliament to make sure that it's mandatory for all lands titles to be registered in Ghana.
They do take our programs here very seriously. And before you know, within a short period, this will become a policy in Ghana. Because we are talking about
it. And you see, and then the Parliament of Ghana should enact a law to make sure that with that free people just transaction land without going through solicitors should be illegality. So that if the lawyers are entrusted to do all the, because if you buy sell property, you're supposed to pay tax on it, isn't it? So if I buy the property from you privately and pay the money even in Ghana must go back. The government is losing money. So we need to make sure that we streamline this. I always say there are certain issues confronting our country. We don't need to politicize it. Like you said, the land tenure system or land gas issue is...
It should not even be there. There should not be any land gas.
But because we are not, as a country, we are not learning best practices. Exactly. When you are buying land, you are even scared. You don't know whether it's the right one. But you see, let's not debate. The problem is that Nana government demolition of that factory is politically motivated.
But they are saying it's not.
But they are not going to admit it.
No, they are saying this is.
They are not going to admit it. Have they ever admitted anything that they are doing wrong in the country? And that is why they are going to receive the shock.
He's a businessman and he is coming from different background, and he doesn't play politics, but he was sent there to build a trade fair, and that is why they took this action.
Who? That man.
Yes.
You and I know in Ghana today, like a friend of mine was telling.
They have got many investors.
Who appointed him as the chief executive of Trade Fair? They brought him. So why didn't they bring you, Kula, to head that trade fair? Let's be fair to ourselves. Today in Ghana, a friend was telling me, if you want to sell charcoal, you need to know some politicians somewhere. That is the reality of the day. So the argument that he's not a politician doesn't add up at all. He's there because of his affiliation to the ruling government. That is clear.
Final analysis on this one is a stop. Now the whole countrywide, you reflecting on it using our solicitors to deal with all these matters about land. There should be a kind of a review about the whole process of land.
What should have
houses and everything?
We have what we call this in this country compulsory purchase.
Yes.
So even the government of the day was really bent on bringing whatever 10 billion investment from South Africa, and Ramos Archer's factory is an obstacle to that investment. They could have negotiated with him and purchased it from him at his own terms, so that give him time to relocate his factory at a place where...
him to relocate.
Of course, because he could have used the money to move the factory to another place. But you can't just come in because you claim the land belongs to the state. Whatever investment is on that land is going to be destroyed, without considering the effect on the economy. The multiplier effect, 120-something workers have lost their job. Their dependents are going to suffer. They won't pay taxes. Unemployment will increase. They may resort to social vices.
Thank you.
They have not taken into consideration what their action is likely to cause the country. This is a government that take decision without thinking about the repercussion of their actions.
I think
let's pray Ghanaians will do the right thing on December 7th.
Recently, some videos be.
Yes.
Also in terms of young people.
Yes.
We are talking about school-age children, or school children, in secondary schools, misbehaving, basically. And it's becoming antisocial behavior issue to me. But who be videos going around, then collage around our pebema, why you say just inappropriate language use, you know. What is going on with our young people, you know, with this sexualized behavior? You know, do we as a country, you know, your image as role models is kind of going downhill, and as I say, because of one, we have issues with our pastors' churches and pastors' behavior. We have issues with politicians' behavior. We have issues with individuals' behavior, and the whole thing is going, you know, and it's affecting our young people. What is the way forward in terms of NDC's policy and how they want to see our young people?
I think we need a very robust child protection system. That's area I'm very passionate about, and inshallah, if John is re-elected, I will push for that. You see, when I look at the number of social issues child protection is on daily basis, it's sickening. Sometimes I'll be driving to work and I will stop and call in, because the way we are going about it is disheartening. And unfortunately, Ghana as a country was the first country to ratify the UN Charter on the Right of the Child under President Rawlings in 1992. And subsequently, we enacted the Children Act of 1998, still under NDC government. So when it comes to issue of child protection, NDC has no colleague in Ghana, because we took Ghana to ratify the UN Convention, which is more or less a Bible for the protection of children. And then we subsequently enacted the Children Act.
Were still
I'm coming. And this, I'm fine. And then under John Mahama, under the able leadership of Nana Olilita as the Minister for Social Protection, a lot of frameworks were passed to turn things around as far as the protection of children is concerned. But the child protection or gender ministers under Nana, I don't even know what they are doing. Otiko Jaba, I said she was West. For this one, what is her name? I don't even know her name. When she went to hospital that she was going to adopt cerebral palsy children, that was when I realized that we're in big trouble. Because the minister who is supposed to be protecting children don't even know what goes into adoption of a child. But having said that, let me come back to those girls that were so in the video. Yes, we can't minimize the effect of modern technology, social media. But ask yourself, why all of a sudden it's become a big issue? Because when we were going to boarding school, there was rules and regulations. You couldn't even go home without systems in place, because they was being monitored. But as I said earlier on, under this free senior HSS, some of the children are living on their own. I'm telling you, because the placement, the schools they have are not boarding schools.
But it's happening in people's homes as well.
I'm getting what so what I'm trying to say, education of
give your final analysis of everything before we can close.
Education of children should be holistic. You need to consider their social and emotional well-being, not only the academic. So under the free education that we have, what system do we have in place to address? You and I know in this country we have children that are deemed to be at risk of sexual exploitation. And systems are put in place to be monitoring
the police,
exactly, social workers, they monitor them. Exactly. But here is the case, because of whatever they display on social media, the schools came out and said, okay, we are going to demonize you, go home. You send them home. Do you know what they are going to do there?
That's it, no support.
Every child, no support.
Every child matters. They
exactly. So they should please to make sure. That means clearly those children are crying for help.
And they are at risk.
They are at risk.
Further risk.
Further risk. And you have asked them to go home. So that is the free education for you.
Thank you. In your final analysis, before that, just Malik, if we are closing, so Umbet Makasa 1 minute. Now, Chairman Makasa
1 minute. Okay. Where the middle say?
Yo.
One, when you know, I know I walk out 1 7. it will happen because of Amambo Bonia, the present administration at the Upper Ghana. Okay, you are into the media, you should remember this. Recently, now come to be beside Baba Gura a year curriculum no more ewo Ghana. Okay. No, so the church these things.
In fact, Mr. Mike, you're running out of time. Just your thank you. Yeah, that's it, baby. Right. Next week. Right.
Thank you. I mean, as I said earlier on, the only hope for Ghanaians is John Mahama to be returned to Jubilee House. No two ways about it. Nana administration, they have demonstrated that even if they have given 20 years, additional 20 years, they can turn our fortunes. We have the evidence. We provided the infrastructure. So when we come back, we are going to continue whatever we are doing and take Ghana to the promised land. So my appeal to Ghanaians is to consider voting massively for NDC President John Mahama and NDC parliamentary candidates on 7th December so that we can move Ghana forward. To Ghanaians living in the UK, our sympathizers, that is NDC sympathizers, our party is growing in the UK and Ireland here. We have 2 branches in London now, and we are looking forward to inaugurate 2 more branches in East London and West London, in addition to the North and South London branches. So very soon we are going to embark on serious recruitment drive. So those who want to join NDC in UK and Ireland should get in touch with us. My number is 078-725-24945, and I will signpost you to the branch that you are supposed to join based on your postcode. Across the UK, we have branches in Hull, Sheffield, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, Sheffield, and we are looking to inaugurate a branch in Republic of Ireland come this Saturday. So we are growing. So don't be left out. Get in touch and you'll be signposted to the relevant branch so that together we can work to rescue Ghana from the incompetent President Akufo-Addo's government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Alhaji Mbaba, NDC chairman for in UK and Ireland. Thank you, Alhaji, for coming. Thank you. Yeah, the money now say, we share programming ever Omega Live TV. Yeah, that say. See you. Yeah, that say. Jobedu and it's that and so on. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night.
wayo, sekulita change wayo. Central market wayo, Waga hospital, Suku Aden Wesio,